the best hosting solution for your own blog. We provide you some insights into how to do it effectively, efficiently, and affordably. If you want to host your own blog, there are a lot of options out there. The proven and tested ones are Linux-based systems based on WordPress or some other PHP programming language solutions that are most stable and most manageable and also very nicely customizable. So this is actually where you want to go unless you take a ready-made package from somewhere and pay for it and pay for service and pay again for hosting and all the other components there are, which is pretty expensive and doesn't give you a lot of control. Personally, I always prefer things where I own the data, where I own the application, where control is done by myself, and where I really know what the website I'm running is doing, and where I can get to all the options and use the different settings and optimize everything just to my liking. Most than anything else, people usually go for the solutions that advertise the most, that are all over the place, that come on your screen when you turn on YouTube, when you go on Google, when you go on any other popular website. But this is not really always the solution you want to be with, because A, they are usually expensive because, remember, they want to sell you something if they advertise. B, you do not have a lot of control. And C, if they are affordable or even free, then this means maybe free as in you don't pay money for it. But on the other hand, they pirate your data, they harvest your personal information, they do all sorts of metrics that you probably don't want to give out to the world and that you may want to keep to yourself. So this is really not the professional way of doing it, just as you would not drive around in a rental car with a big logo on it saying you are an idiot driver and just go to whatever driving school only because it's a little cheaper maybe. So you get the point. And the best solutions there are the ones that are recommended not so much by bloggers, by specialists out there who always receive commissions for it, and whose recommendations are of course influenced by the kind of commissions they receive or whether or not they receive any commissions at all. Same here, by the way. I have to admit, if you go to the solution I suggest you go to, you get a good solution, yes, and also I receive a commission if you do it using my link. So if you don't like me, just don't use my link, but still go to the same solution because it's a good solution. It doesn't really matter. And if you think that's okay, then please use my link. I'll be happy and I'll be grateful because you support me this way and you make it possible that I make more content like this and can keep you informed about things you probably didn't know. So the best possible solution I can think of is none that I receive any commissions for. It is hosting your own stuff on your own machine, in your own house or basement or kitchen or closet, whatever you have, and go for it yourself. The next best solution is Linode, which is a cloud hosting platform with data centers around the world in 7 locations or 9 locations, I believe, ranging from Singapore to Frankfurt, London, and several locations in the United States, plus one in Australia, if I'm not mistaken. So you have a wide choice of geographical locations and you can move your website close to your customers or your main audience, which is a big plus when it comes to loading times and response times and therefore Google ranking. Because loading speed is one of the metrics Google ranks you for, or ranks you down if you don't have it. So this is really a good idea. Also, you have a choice of jurisdictions. So if you do not want to have your server in the United States, which would make a lot of sense for several reasons, then you can move your server to the United Kingdom, to Canada, Australia, or Singapore, or even Frankfurt in Germany if you want to be inside of Europe. Linode hosting gives you the same kind of access you have or you would have if you host your websites at home. I know what I'm talking about. I've done it on several platforms. I have had one machine or other in some corner of the house for 12 years now. I started out with old PCs that I repurposed in order to run as web servers. Then I replaced these web servers mainly for power consumption reasons by a Raspberry Pi, which was very, very economic on power and just took 5 watts or something. And I was able to really run websites on one Raspberry Pi for 10 years now. I have had several websites on the same machine even, and the newer versions of the Raspberry Pi became faster and faster. So at peak times, I was hosting like 24 or 25 websites on one little Raspberry Pi that cost me a ridiculous $35 to buy, and that didn't really draw any significant power at all. And it was still okay, and it was very nice to have control over all your stuff. Why am I telling you this? Because the feeling with the Linode server is similar in one way, as you have the full control and access to everything. But on the other hand, the Linode version, of course, is much, much faster. It is way faster than a Raspberry Pi running along with 25 websites, which is a little too much maybe for the little box, but anyway, it worked. So the Linode server is really lightning fast by comparison, and it is faster than most GoDaddy websites I've checked out or managed for clients. And I really know a number of solutions that are not as good as Linode. So the good part, Linode costs you $10 a month. It even offers a smaller package that is available from $5 a month. So that is really, really cheap. GoDaddy, by comparison, they charge like $450 a year. That works out to something like $35 to $40 a month for one website. On Linode, on the other hand, you can have many websites if you want. You can take the smallest package, the one they don't even really advertise, the $5 package I mentioned, and you can host like the same 25 websites I mentioned earlier on that one package. Currently, in order to optimize performance, I have to add that I am hosting only 6 websites on that one package right now, and I'm staying comfortably within the band and the bandwidth allowance I really have, and that isn't a problem. Upgrading is also always possible, and the $10 package gives you really a lot of room to maneuver, and there are also larger ones for really high traffic installations, really to the point where you host some gaming solutions on them. And this is still fast enough, and also the bandwidth is available, and these packages are a bit more expensive. They cost like $25 or $30 a month. I don't even know, because I didn't look into that. I wasn't interested in that because I went with the $10 or $5 per month, and that is all you really need. You can host multiple WordPress websites on it, and again, this is all I need, and this is most likely all you need too, because what you want to do is host a website that can make you some profit, or that is good for your project, or that gives you the exposure on the internet you want, and you'll be fine. Now, let's get into how to host Linode and a little bit about the configuration and installation features you can use, and a little bit about the ins and outs, what you may want to do in order to optimize your WordPress site. And you will have a working solution in maybe 25 or 30 minutes when you watch this video, or in like 5 to 10 minutes if you are more experienced and know what you're doing.